Hey guys, Ray from Lovey RV and Boat. So we got another boat prep video, sort of part two. I gave you an intro last video. I'm going to show you the projects we're doing. So this one is going to be more the bow of the boat, things I'm doing at the bow, kind of starting at the front. Anyway, this is our bow thruster that can be added onto the front of boats. I think it's called a side shift. Last year we pulled it off the boat and had it all sanded down and recoated. There's some kind of Interlux Protect, I think it's called, underneath, and then there's a bottom paint on top of that. Lasted pretty good. There's also some zincs on it, as you can see, but there's two electrical connections right here. Just added some lubricant cleaner to that. I'm going to clean those up. There's one at the top and one at the bottom, and then there's also a little kind of air thing that the air hose attaches to it, just to release any air out of the inside of it so you don't hurt the seals. I guess there's seals at each end, prop seals. Anyway, I'm going to clean those connections up, clean this up a bit. I pulled it off the front of the boat. Came off much easier this year. Last year it had been on there many years, so it was kind of a bear to get off, but that's what I'm going to do as a routine, is pull it off every year. It's got like a cover on the front of it. Works pretty good. It's the alternative of drilling a hole through the front of your bow to get a bow thruster. We just have a single screw boat. You can see over there the prop and the rudder there. So it helps to have a bow thruster, especially when you're docking there. Those seem to last pretty good. Last year we had them all sanded down right down to the bronze, and had it coated with zinc paint, prevent corrosion. So we'll probably just have to do a light sand and some more of the zinc coating. You can see Anne's up on the scaffolding there working on the bright work. We'll have a look at what she's doing in a moment. And also I'm installing this battery up front. I'm going to be reviewing this battery. This is sent out by a company called Vatrer. I don't even know how to pronounce that. V-A-T-R-E-R. 460 amp hour lithium. There's an on-off switch here, but one of the cool things is it has Bluetooth, so it'll have an app, and it's in quite a nice case, nicely protected. So I'm going to install that. I'll show you where I'm going to install that in a moment, but it's going to run the bow thruster and our anchor windlass. So it'll be up very close to that. I'm going to change the wiring and make the wiring a lot shorter runs. And being lithium will have a nice higher voltage, so I'm hoping that'll really run those two motors well. Anyway, let's get to the front of the boat. I'll show you the outside, and then we'll get on the inside and take a peek at what I'm doing. So you can see I have all my anchor line out. We got about 30 meters of chain, and then a whole bunch more line, pretty thick line. So usually what we do is drop the chain on the bottom with our big 44-pound anchor there, and keeps us from drifting away. Here we go. This is where the bow thruster fits. So I have it off. It's installed. There's a couple of bolts that go right through there. It is slightly above the water line, I think. Maybe, oh, there's about the water line there. So these ones are a little bit, but they're really well sealed, and they were all done last year when we did the major bottom restoration on the boat. We didn't, we had someone do it. But anyway, it was done, and it's turned out really well. Won't have to do much work this year. And you can see this bolt goes through that bow thruster and holds it against the boat. And then here's my electrical connections. The peek at those, I think I'm going to try to get a little bit extra length and cut those off and put some new lugs on them. They're looking a bit worn there, and I don't know if water has gotten in behind there and kind of corroded the inside connections, so I'm going to clean those up. I'll have to pull this sealant off. I put a bit more slack from the inside so I can get a little more length to cut those off and put new lugs. And then there's the air line there. And then up top there's a piece that goes through, and there's I think it's made of zinc, another anti-corrosion device, and a thing goes right through there. So this sealant will need to be pulled off and new sealant put in. So let's go inside and give you a look what's going on in the bow. Major cleanup happening. So here's the anchor locker right there. So I've deployed all the chain and rope out. That way I could get the bow thruster off. And while I'm at it, I've decided to clean the anchor bilgeway. So when the anchor goes back, it's always full of water and dirt, sometimes mud and seaweed. So it falls down behind there. I found a spot right around there that it was kind of building up and creating a bit of a dam. So I've used my portable pressure washer and tried to force it. I can't, there's no way to access under here. It's all sealed under the floor here. There's one access point right here, which is kind of where also the shower water goes. So we shower in here. This is our forward head where we like to shower in. Ann's redoing some of the trim in there. Anyway, there's a drain that drains there, ends up down in there. So I've got an angled pressure washer attachment. I can sort of go like this. Spray it out, you get the idea. So I fed that into the hole at the front there and is able to force a lot of water through there and kind of rinse it out. Yesterday I put some of this bilge cleaner in a bucket, sprayed it all in, kind of really soaked up, and left it overnight. Now I'm just back to rinse that out. Hopefully that'll kind of clean out that alleyway and make things smell a little bit better. Give you a look in there, throw my camera down there and you can kind of see what I mean underneath. There we go, you can kind of see in there. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. There we go. Some debris that's fallen down there over the years. Anyway, you get the idea. And then that goes on the other side of this wall and into the main bilge. There's a little drain through the wall down there. You can see I'm having a project here where I've pulled a battery box out and I'm going to clean up that part. I'm going to repaint all this nice and white again. This is a handy tool, one of those portable pressure washers. Just sucks up through this tube here and sprays out. Came with a couple of 40-volt batteries. Another application I have this for is when we pull up the anchor. I'll use this to hose off the anchor as it's pulling up, pressure wash the chain and that. And then I can also pressure wash the deck. So I kind of also try to capture rainwater for that so that I have some fresh water as we're cruising along. And works pretty well. Doesn't draw too much water to spray, so that's a good thing. Don't want to waste water out there. Anyway, we'll continue on with the project. Okay, so we have that cleaned up there. I'm going to go over my plan here for you. This area here, I'm going to put in a rather large lithium battery. It's in a metal case. It has Bluetooth, so I'll be able to check on it with an app. And it's going to fit just about in there. I should maybe put a block of wood there to kind of keep it from moving back and forth. And maybe I'll put some foam on the sides or put it on some foam. Kind of a foam piece underneath, just because it gets a lot of waves up here. And you can see here, this is the bow thruster controller. There's a wireless controller here. Goes into a large switch here, and then got negative and positive coming out, and it just reverses polarity on these wires, which go out the front of the boat through the hull, kind of above the water line, and then into the bow thruster. You can go forward and reverse with that. And this red and black wire goes all the way back to the AGM starter batteries, which, you know, when you're using the bow thruster, your power is on, so the alternator is also providing amperage to that system, and comes out to here. So I'm basically going to leave that system in place as a backup to the newer edition of the new battery. I'm going to put a switch in here so that I can switch between the two. In case the lithium battery gets run down, I can always switch back to the existing system. And I'm also going to put in a small DC to DC charger, so that which has an app as well, which I can turn on and off as I need to recharge this battery. It's going to be in here as needed. And so that's the idea. Basically, we'll run off the lithium, which will be very close proximity to my bow thruster, so I won't be losing a lot of losses in the wiring going all the way back to pretty well the middle of the boat. Must be at least about a 20-foot wire run on the positive going back. The negative I'll leave in place as is. Also, I'm going to rewire my windlass for the anchor. See up there, it's a Maxwell. So rather than it getting its power from back over here, goes through in the power cabinet, there's a breaker and a wiring. I'm going to take the breaker and put it down here and wire it into this system, so it'll have a very short run to the windlass. And also, with the lithium battery sitting at 13.2 volts and not sagging under load very much, should work pretty well. Now the power draw on the windlass is about 100 amp, and I think the bow thruster will be about the same. So I think the lithium battery should be able to handle that load no problem. It's a big battery, has a 200 amp continuous, and then it also has, I think, quite a higher amperage load. I'll show you when I install and review that battery. Anyway, that's my next project after I get the bow thruster all cleaned up and reinstalled. Let's go see how Anne's doing up here. She's been working her way up the port side. She's done the stern.
Hi.
She's got rented some scaffolding here. Makes it easy for her.
Yeah, you want to see this?
Yeah.
So if I just try to scrape it, it doesn't really work that well, right?
Yeah.
But if I use the heat gun, you kind of have to go slow, and you can see it bubbling up. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
It starts to bubble up.
Yeah.
And you just go along slow like that. And then I just do small sections at a time, and then when I go to scrape it, it just comes right off.
Oh, yeah. Using my Wagner heat gun.
Yeah.
On low level 3.
I think I've got it at level 4 right now.
Level 4.
Yeah, I went up a level.
The low fan speed.
It's still pretty low. I mean, I could speed it up and make it hotter.
Yeah, you don't want to catch the boat on fire.
No. So.
Don't know if this stuff starts to turn into flame.
And I can only work so fast anyway, so this is working for me.
Yeah.
Just like
I'll show you
and
what
then
she's.
it just comes right off. And I just try to capture as much of this on the boat as I can, so I can vacuum it up later.
Yeah.
Ah,
good job.
Thank you.
I'll show you what she's done so far.
This part here is after scraping, and then down there a little bit I did the Bright Star to get some of this black
Oh yeah.
off that's underneath, and I might have to do another round of that.
Yeah, she tries to get rid of any black mold that forms underneath. You can see she's done all the way along over to the stern. It's probably this side's not as bad. I guess the previous owners could do this kind of near the dock. They were mostly in the water all the time, so it got a little more attention, it looks like. But this side was a little worse, so while we have it in the boatyard, just He's working on it. Well, kind of cut off those ends to reattach some and ran into some quite black wiring. So I cut it back even further, and then it was red. Still didn't look so good. So I think I'm going to have to replace the whole thing. Cut it back quite far before we got to this. I think this is probably tinned copper wiring. Anyway, I'm going to just replace the whole length of wire with brand new stuff. And I'm also going to replace this tubing. It's getting a little brittle. I just pulled away when I was taking it out. So, continue on. Till next time, Ray from Love Ya RV and Boat. Cheers, everyone.